Good morning, Tom Grisafi, ATI ProMedia, coming to you from Bloomington, Illinois at Advanced Trading Corporate Headquarters. We have an action-packed show, and we do have a couple questions. Where are all the flash sales? Grains are at multi-year lows. Why aren't all these foreign countries who allegedly need our grain, why aren't they gobbling it up? Number two, the farmers are taking control of France. Question, how long until that happens in America? It's happened in the Netherlands. It's happened in Canada. It's happened in other countries. Farmers allegedly in America started doing things around the Texas border. Farmers, you have a lot of control and power. Only bad news is price of corn isn't at a level you would like. We also have news coming out of UPS, Parcel Service, not the post office, the other UPS. They came out with headlines and their stock's down. On a positive note, ADM stock went up 5% yesterday and it's up again today. We like that. We're in the futures and options business. ADM, they are a huge player in the grain markets, in the food markets, and we don't want anything bad happening in this industry. We have enough problems with what's happening in price. Speaking of price, we have a cattle report. Brady Huck's going to break that down. Connor, come on in the show. I can't see you. You're kind of over on this screen. How you doing? There you are, fella. All right.
I'm
Help
doing good.
bail me out because I'm a little out of sorts here. What do we got going on today?
You're doing great. Everything you just said. Let's talk outside markets, and we'll talk where are those flash sales. The first one we have in France. We've talked about how farmers are riding. Tommy, taxi drivers are joining them as well. I feel like no one protests quite as well as the French, but so we have taxi drivers. They're trying to blockade Paris. Joining them in protest. All we need is the airline pilots to join too, and we'll have everyone grounded there.
Do you
But
know why they're so upset? What's going on? Is this the
it's
whole? Go ahead.
so I think it's multi-factor. Stop me if I'm wrong, but it's the cheap food prices, right? The French government, the EU has really tried to get food inflation down. Farmers don't like that. We are seeing lower, losses, lower prices. We're seeing some of the subsidies that farmers have seen be cut, right? This is more Germany, but again, EU, think Germany, France, with the diesel subsidy being taken away. And so it's multiple factors, right? But at the end of the day, I think it's related to profitability, and they feel like their government isn't doing enough for them.
Yeah, I also feel like it's the whole woke thing. If you see some of those tapes of the lady telling you eat bugs and grasshoppers, and again, I don't know where she is getting her calories from, but she wasn't starving herself. So she had all types of ideas on how we're supposed to feed 8 billion people. I think get that right. Like there's 8 billion people in the world. Uh, we got to educate people. We got to get this going. And the thing that's the real kicker is world commodity prices are collapsing, right? So they're being told you can't do it this way, you can't do it that way, you can't do this. They're probably being taxed and scrutinized right out of profitability just by regulation, if I had to guess. We'll get more into that later in the show. Let's hope we don't have those problems here,
Yep.
Connor. Let's hope we can get to our senators and congressmen and elected officials. Um, but we don't have, I'd love to say something political, and I will. I mean, let's just do it, right? So we have two people running for election, and one doesn't remember what he had for breakfast and the other one can't keep his hands off people. I mean, that's what we got going here. So who's going to take care of our farmers? I have no clue, but it's going to be interesting. You have any color to add to that?
No, you said it. You said it well. We'll see. We got two candidates. One of them will be in office this time next year.
Maybe it may not go that way though. I mean, you're getting to deal with people who are older. I I don't think either of those two candidates will be in office. It's my personal opinion. I
Okay,
just I just
we'll
can't
bookmark
envision it.
that.
But anyway, we will be here talking markets live at 9. So speaking
Absolutely.
of markets, we have some good news. Corn up 1, wheat down a little, beans working their way up
Yeah.
a little bit, but it,
Yeah.
where are these export sales? That's the title of today's show. Where are all the exports? You have any color on that?
Let's dive right into it. I got a few charts. We haven't seen the flash sales. Sorry, go ahead, Joe. Pull it up. The flash sales, where have they been? Right, November, December, it felt like we had a flash sale every day. Now they're disappearing. We've talked a lot about this, Tommy, just looking at the weekly export inspections and how we look at the seasonality of our corn sales and soybean sales. So purple line on corn shipments, as you can see, we're right in between 21 and 22, right? We had we were really worse off on our corn shipments last year. But as you can see, we're chugging along. The story, in my opinion, is looking at the soybean shipments. And so as you can see, we are the destination for a set amount of time. And typically, right, if we're especially if we're looking at the past couple of years, that disappears quickly as the South America crop comes online. And as you can see, we're already hitting that cliff. It looks like we're going to be less than previous years, dipping below, getting into the rest of the year.
Yesterday or days before, we knew it was going to happen, but South American beans to the East Coast, that happens. Those ports over in Wilmington, everyone gets that shocked face. Like, listen, folks, it's a global market. If beans are so cheap in one country, both based on basis and flat price, and they get cheap enough to import them to our country, grain's going to flow that way. Also, Karen Braun from Reuters had some really interesting charts. We didn't pop it up, but if you go on her Twitter page, she had they really follow all the vessels that are out there, and the green dots are flowing in a different direction. Pretty
Here's-
much conclusion that we're adding 10 days to a lot of shipments of a lot of
Boy,
things.
boy, do I have a great chart for you, Tommy. You read
do?
my mind. Just looking, I don't know if it was what you were looking for, and it's nothing we don't know, but look how the vessels have rerouted from the Suez Canal going around that Cape of Good Hope. So as you can see, the gray is what goes through the Suez Canal, and going into 2024, that business has all but dried up. Everything has rerouted around there.
What else do we have, Connor B? We got to get Brady on here, and
Yeah.
we are going to get out of here.
Okay, let's hammer it. Talking about flash sales, right? When we see these low prices. Speaking of low prices, we touched on the March low for corn, I believe,
I have
436
that
and a
up and
half.
ready.
And we bounced 4-6 cents. We're sitting up 2, right? So good things to see as I hit on some other news and looking at that demand factor as we see these low
It froze
prices.
up a little on me.
Okay, I'm going to keep talking just in case, Tommy. But as we see these low prices and as we keep dipping, right, where's the demand factor at? And 2 things I want to highlight is Brazil, that safrinha corn crop. Planting progress is chugging right along. Mato Grosso, their biggest corn producing state, especially with the safrinha corn crop, is at 11% planted versus 17.5 average. Last year, they were 5.9%, and they had a fantastic crop. So we talked a little bit about it with the delayed soybean planted. Where are we going to see that corn crop in Mato Grosso? It's chugging right along. Other thing
real quick,
I have.
everyone. Oh, sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Go, Tommy.
This is a 10-minute March corn chart. This is what a huge rally looks like. We go from 437 up to 442. Please stand by. I mean, if we all went to 450, there'd be a large golf clap, but rallies will be sold. And my screens have froze up a little bit here. So if by chance, you lose me, just keep going.
Okay, we'll do. So other thing I have, and let's kick it over to cattle, is just looking at when we talk demand, right? We want those flash sales. We want sales. China, we've talked a lot about it, but looking at their soybean crush, they've remained below 2 million metric tons since the end of November. This past month, they've been averaging 10% below the 22-23 price, right? This is mostly on lower hog margins, lower hog demand. But that Chinese demand, right now, we're not seeing it. It's a fluid market. We'll see where it goes. But right now, on the demand side, we need some type of catalyst to break into it. Back to you, my friend.
Let's get Brady Huck in here. He's going to break down cattle. We got some big things happening. B Huck, again, guys, my internet connection. It's not the internet. I think it's the connecting the screens together. Anyway, if you lose me, just keep going. April live cattle. What do we have going tomorrow? Tell us something actionable. What should we do? What's going on?
Well,
what should we know about?
These April live cattle, if you bought those expensive feeders last fall, those 8 weights that were at record highs in September and October, you've lost a lot of dollars on the charts here, and unless you were hedged. But we're finally getting back to hedgeable levels on those cattle, that group of cattle that's going to come out March and April, where you can go out and protect those and protect, from red ink. They've been in the red ink for the last 30, 40 days after that September to December market meltdown. But so April live cattle, you got some actionable levels where you can go out and get some lines in the sand and protect yourself. We want to be bullish going forward. We want to make the most of all our market opportunities. So keep that upside open, but you got something you can do here if you got fat cattle in the feed yard.
Let's switch to feeders a little bit. I have March feeders for you here, Mr. Huck, and March feeders are currently up 140. Those April live cattle were down 50. Can I ask you why live cattle were down 50 and the feeders are doing better?
You can. I don't know that I have an answer.
That's okay. You don't need to know. I mean, it's same as saying, why is corn up 3 and wheat's down 2? Like, it's where the market is. That's it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Not every price needs an excuse of why it's there, right?
Yep. But
I'm good
there's
at it.
jockeying around and put pre-report positioning and yeah, I don't have all the answers by any
That's
means.
okay.
But March feeders, they've recovered 50% of that September to December sell-off, up $30 off those lows. $30 on an 800-pound steer is $240 a head. If you got pasture cattle on wheat right now, they are worth $240 more than they were at the market lows in December. So great areas to go and protect there. You look out at deferred values, and we've got the November
You
feeder
want me to
cattle
go out to
contract.
November feeders? I could do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's going to be a much shorter chart. It hasn't been available as long. It's pushing record highs for in contract highs, but we're at 270, I believe, just under
That's
270.
November of 24. Yeah. Yeah. 270. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, but that's a $30 premium to the index, and a $25, $30 premium to March feeders.
Right. And
Record prices.
I'm just interested in seeing how many of those have traded. Like, I don't know how much that I want to see that. Like, how many of those have traded today, real quick. I
Yeah.
just want to see. Yeah, those have traded 67 contracts. So
Pretty
buyer,
thin.
seller, beware. Not the most deep liquid product, but yet that is the price they are trading. Interesting. Okay, let's pop this out. You have some slides you'd like to add. Want me to add them? I'm going to add them.
Yeah, throw them up there. We've got a big report tomorrow. It's a biannual cattle inventory report. It comes out at 2:00 after the close tomorrow. We get 2 of these a year, one in January, one in July. It's a snapshot of the cow herd, the feeder cattle supply. It's a significant report that'll have a lot of details in it that the trade's going to dissect. Big report. They're looking for a smaller calf crop, potentially it's going to be the smallest since 2014, potentially going to break below that and be smaller than that. Look for surprises on the calf crop side of things. Beef heifer replacements. How many heifers have we cut back for replacements? Indications of our producers rebuilding the herd or not yet. Many think that we haven't started to rebuild it yet, and I would be surprised if the data showed that we are, but keep an eye on that number. We're also going to be looking at residual supply of feeder cattle that are outside of feed yards right now. We've placed a lot in October and September. Placements have backed off in December and January. How many feeders are left for the taken out there? The pickings are slim. How tight's that supply going to get for feeder cattle? Big report tomorrow. You've got record prices to protect. You can be bullish, but defend your bottom line here. Defend your bottom line.
I like it, guys. Before we end the day, corn's on the high, up 3, feels good to say. Markets
Absolutely.
are moving. I have some other questions for you. I will ask you off air. Brady Huck, I have a client from North Dakota. He wants you to call me after the show, talk about what would have happened if he would have used LRP versus puts. He wants you to break it down. I think he might be doing a little interested in trying LRP insurance with you.
Great
Guys,
time to ask those questions. Yep.
Yeah, I said let's keep the show under 10 minutes. We couldn't do it. So there's some things I'm good at, and there's some things I'm not. Not talking is not one of them. If you guys want to get a hold of us, you can get a hold of us on or watch Daily Show, watch on YouTube. Of course, we're available on Apple and Spotify. Connor, I need you to say something at the end. It's like we threw you in the corner and just shamed you. Say something smart.
Hey, when you guys talk cattle, I think my job is just kind of nod and say along, right? That's not my expertise. I love hearing Brady talk about it. And so,
I have to say that is the beauty of ATI ProMedia is that
Absolutely.
everyone's a little good at something, but all of us together are good at a lot. I'll end it with that. Thanks, everyone.
wrap it up.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.